from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. I have a show guest today for you that you have seen on The Three before. Her name is Dr. Jennifer Hayden Epperson, and she's a good friend. Welcome back to The Three.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here, and may I please say that the title of her book, first of all, is The Pioneer's Way. I got to get this subtitle right. It's so good. Leading a trailblazing life that builds meaning for your family, your community, and you. And it's interesting to me that you have created a manual for us to be able to make it if we need to make it somewhere. You know, I mean, this world, this technological world is... I'm afraid that many of us would not be able to homestead, as you say, and to pioneer our way through an emergency. And so it needs to be said that just this morning, we've had a nationwide cell outage.
Imagine
and
that.
I've had people writing me, my eldest son was writing me and saying, do we have a plan? Do we have a plan if something happens? And I thought, well, maybe I will after my first show guest today. So I know it's a much more broad topic than that, but the Pioneer's Way. First of all, I love it. You discuss right off the bat in the book, what is a pioneer? What is it?
Yeah, you know, and this came about as a result of frustration in my own life. You know, I had an irritant that was just gnawing away at me. It happened to be in my work life.
Wow.
Because bringing new ideas to the table, Laura, is not very easy,
it's not.
as you know.
No.
And you don't think that you would continue to struggle against we've always done it this way,
yeah.
but as a matter of fact, some people really do. So I did learn through this process of thinking through the difference between a pioneer and a leader. That there really is a difference.
Okay, I want to know.
Okay.
I've always referred to them. Really, I have. So what's the difference?
Well, a leader, very important individual, right? In our churches, communities, all areas of life. These are individuals that have a mission, and there are people following them, and they're basically going forward to accomplish this mission.
Okay.
Now, pioneer, as I began to think through this type of individual, very unique personality, and I have this written. I want to make sure I get all the facets down of this. This is a persistent, risk-taking individual who ventures into a new territory, to accomplish a goal or a mission that is on this person's heart. And in so doing, they influence other people to come into this new area as well. So we have persistent, we have risk-taking, we have a new area, and we have influence, bringing people with him.
Well, I would think that, of course, there's a difference between a pioneer and a settler, if we can just use the exact vernacular.
Sure.
And you look at how the pioneers, even in America, I mean, they literally hacked their way through the wilderness, bearing their children along the way. So there's pioneers and there's settlers. I would imagine some leaders could be settlers. Some of them have even just been put in these positions of leadership, but they didn't have to trailblaze, did they?
I agree with that. Yeah. And there's use for that.
Sure.
I call it status quo leadership.
Okay.
In other words, we are going toward that goal. We have people that are behind us, walking with us toward that goal, but we may continue to want different results, but we're trying to accomplish it in the same way.
Right.
So I think there's a funny joke that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, same way, expecting different results.
Absolutely.
But we do need leaders in our community that are going to continue to lead that way. But I look at the pioneering leader as sort of the tip of the leadership spear.
Right.
Because he or she is going into that new territory. And the big difference is there's risk involved.
Well, and the catalyst is, and you say it right off the bat in chapter 1, I got to get out of this place. So often we don't really recognize as pioneer. First of all, this is pioneer talking to pioneer.
Okay.
I realize that.
Good.
But sometimes it takes the mama bird putting the rocks in the nest to get us out. And I see the Father do that a lot. He will just make it uncomfortable. And you have no choice but to go blaze a trail somewhere else. So describe that to us, that feeling of I got to get out of this place.
Yes.
Chapter 1.
You made it very clear, because I think that those circumstances do come from the Lord. It's very uncomfortable. Sometimes it's stoking up a sense of justice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, this isn't right, or these people aren't being treated properly, or why don't these children have access to art courses? You know, it can be whatever it is that is in your life that is causing this irritant.
Yeah.
And it's like, you begin to think about it, you begin to mull on it, and sometimes the Lord will come to you and say, hello, it's you. That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
We see that a lot as pastors. We tell someone who comes to us with a complaint, why don't you have a group like this at your church, or whatever it is? That's a great idea. Do you want to do it? And, you know, you'd be amazed at the complainers who really just want to complain. They don't really want to lead. They don't want to trailblaze. I had a woman one time who, and when you plant a church, which is interesting, I think the pioneer thing, I'm hearing a lot of apostolic language in here, what we're discussing, but when you plant a church, you have people who, from the very beginning, you're doing a lot of things and you're delegating as you see, people able to take responsibility stride for stride. So early days of the ministry, this woman of our church that we pastor, Eastgate here in Nashville, this woman accused me of, you don't know how to delegate, you want to control everything. And I said, oh, I'm so glad you said that. Can you take the prayer ministry? You're an intercessor, and I would love it if you could take it and take that off of me. And she said, oh, well, I don't think the Lord wants me to do that.
And, you know,
I just thought, what?
I had the opposite problem when I was brought into a radio network to sort of help fix some things and advance this Christian radio network. And when I began to delegate, there was some pushback, as in, this is your job. Why are you giving us your work? So I think the pioneering leader, really that vision may be his or hers in the beginning, but the team with which they surround themselves also is very important.
It is definitely important. All right. I love this chapter, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. So you definitely have not just the steps of the definition of what a pioneer is, but your chapter titles are so creative, and you really help people go through the visceral feelings and questions they have as they are learning to pioneer. So when we come back from the break, I want to unpack that chapter 4, Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and how we get started blazing our own trails. Right back after the break.
Some people don't yet realize that essential oils were put by God into our leaves, trees, flowers, and grasses on the third day of creation, all to promote health, provide prevention, and yes, even cures. Other people get that, but maybe they've never had any real success with one particular essential oil, which is why I create oil blends, giving you a better chance for a positive result with numerous health benefits. But there's one thing we all agree upon, and that is that essential oils smell good. They fill up a room with any mood that you need, anytime that you need it. We call it aromatherapy. But maybe you don't know the science behind why aromatherapy works. You see, we inhale through our nasal passages, and the nasal passages have direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. This means that scent is immediately tied to mood, but that's good news because you can change your mood by merely changing the aroma in your room. It's like therapy in a bottle. And that's why we call it aromatherapy. At Neuromatics Oil, we take the business of aromatherapy very seriously. We offer you a wide variety of options. Candles, diffuser sets, nasal inhalers, even diffuser jewelry so that you can wear your essential oils all day long. Quiet Brain for natural relief from insomnia, anxiety, headache, and more. Happy Brain to lift mood and even help with appetite suppression and depression. And Sharp Brain to help with focus and cognitive memory issues. Naturally, the oil blends themselves, applied topically on the skin, are going to provide faster and more potent relief. But if you're looking for a way to enjoy our oil blends without using them on the skin, aromatherapy is for you. And Neuromatics Oil has you covered. Go to lauraharrismith.com/CTN or use your phone and scan the QR code on your screen with your camera app. Or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Did you know that there are more than 600 Bible references to aromatic plants and essential oils? Did you know that once upon a time they were our only medicines? They're still medicine today. You see, God made plants and their essential oils to support your health. They're drug-free remedies that can be used from the comfort of your own home with little to no side effects. And although only 5% of natural products get patented, my oil blends, Quiet Brain, Happy Brain, and Sharp Brain, did, because third-party lab tests proved that they crossed the blood-brain barrier with potent relief for everything from migraines to memory loss, insomnia, anxiety, seizures, weight problems, even depression. So go to neuromaticsOil.com today to see my patented oil blends, and there are dozens of therapeutic products, healing lotions, bubble baths, nasal inhalers, even shampoo and conditioners, all created by our family for the health of yours. Go to lauraharrismith.com/CTN or call 1-855-784-3827. 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET BRAIN. What if there was a reset button for your body, mind, and spirit? There is! I wrote the 30-Day Faith Detox so you could cleanse your body, renew your mind, and heal your spirit. There are 30 daily devotionals to confront emotional residues from past trials, what I call faith toxins, prayers to refresh your spirit, and then through yummy strategic foods, each of your 15 body systems are cleansed for a total body detox. People are losing weight and gaining faith. Go to lauraharrismith.com today to get your copy of the 30-Day Faith Detox.
Hey guys, I'm Laura. Welcome back to The Three. We're here today with my friend, Dr. Jennifer Hayden Epperson. You're in my phone as Dr. Jen, because I know a lot of Jennifers. And anyway, so we are so thankful that she's here. She's written a wonderful manual for you called The Pioneer's Way. It's not just for homesteading and all types of other creative ideas, things that you need to do for your life and in this day and age, but also just pioneers in general, leadership. This is a leadership book. And so I love many different aspects of it, as you can tell, but I want us to, before we get back into the book, I teased everybody with chapter 4 before we left, but I want to get back to, or go to this topic first of all, which is, you have been in the broadcasting world for so long. You are a media pioneer. You're a media rock star, really. So I'm just going to say, so, but since you were last here, you've done some other firsts. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so currently I'm the executive director of a Christian radio network up in Mankato, Minnesota, called Kinship Radio.
Yeah.
And Kinship Radio it started out as just KJLY, one station 40 years ago. And now we have 22 signals, currently building 6 more.
Wow.
Serving the people in northern Iowa and southern Minnesota. So
That is amazing.
very exciting.
Minnesota just gave me a great son-in-law, so I love that.
Congratulations.
Yes, he is amazing, don't you know? He's incredible.
Don't you know? You betcha.
Hi, Donovan. We love you, by the way. Okay, so chapter 4, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Tell us about that. It's a very creative book. You're a creative person. This is really a book for creative leaders. So what does that mean, Follow the Yellow Brick Road?
So there's a very important punctuation mark at the end of Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and it's a question mark.
Yeah, I see that.
Are you going to follow the yellow brick road, or are you going to go off-roading?
Right.
You know, in Minnesota, a lot of people love to go off-roading. And the Pioneer does not follow the yellow brick road because when you venture into new territory, a lot of times, well, we know this, there are no maps.
Right.
And with navigation, what does navigation say? It says you have lost your satellite. There is no satellite. You are on an unknown road. So the Pioneer really has to be prepared for this sort of thing. But how can you be prepared for the unknown? Yeah. Well, a lot of pioneers, in doing some research on this, what they try to do is you do your research, you try to speak to people who are in similar areas.
Yes.
I think, for example, of Ernest Shackleton, who went down and was pioneering all along the continent of Antarctica. And he had people with experience, and he had some of his own, of being down in that territory, but nothing could have prepared him for the endurance getting stuck in the ice. But he had supplies.
Yeah.
He was a leader who knew the importance of morale and led his men on a journey and saved all of their lives. It was not a journey that he expected to take, but he was able to change his mission from getting to the South Pole to let's get everyone home.
So he applied skills that he did have and just really pivoted them in a different
in a
environment.
creative way.
Yes.
And he had individuals with him, team members, who had expertise in different areas. And one of the most important things he had to do was he had to prevent a mutiny by valuing those men's lives. As opposed to Henry Hudson, who centuries earlier,
right,
he had a mutiny because he would not give up his mission. He would not pivot. And those men said, forget it. We're going home. You're staying in Canada.
That is such a powerful analogy. And again, I love all of the pioneering analogies that you have here. I'm thinking of, speaking of pivoting, David in Scripture and how by the time he got to Goliath, he'd never fought a giant, but he'd fought a lion, he'd fought a bear.
Correct.
And he used the same skills. Basically, he just aimed higher, and he didn't need a big sword or big muscles to take out Goliath. It just that shot right in the right spot in the forehead, and he came down. And so I love also the concept of you take what you have, the anointing that you have, God has given you, if you're a pioneer, he has given you those skills. He's not just throwing you out there to the wolves, Trust him and be that kind of leader who really, I hate to say fake it till you make it, but if there's a team of people behind you, they need to see that you are confident. That's another thing that I see in good leaders.
Yes, and where does that confidence come from? I mean, there are plenty of times in being transparent and going into new territories or moving to a new place when the Lord asks you to, there's a certain amount of fear.
There is.
Let's be honest with that. There's a certain amount of fear. But if God is asking you to do something and it's God-sized, chances are the very fact that I don't got this, you go to the Lord and you say, Lord,
you go to him.
What is it that you want to accomplish here? And if you've called me to do this, you've equipped me, and you will make the way straight.
That is
It's
so
tough.
true. It is tough. There is a certain amount of fear that a pioneer has to dismiss. You have to somehow section it off. You give it its place. You take it to the Lord, but it doesn't go on the trail with you. It can't go when you're blazing the trail. It can't go there. I think there are times when, as leaders, we give what we can, and then at the end of every day, we have to go back to the Lord for a replenishing. So often. So anyway, love that chapter. This kind of leads us into the right tools for the job. So God is going to equip us. We sort of touched on that a moment ago, but he has equipped you and is not going to call you someplace that you are not able to go lead. Would you agree with that?
With his help.
With his help, yes.
Again, I think that there's a lot of water treading that a pioneer does. You can't feel, back to John Bunyan, you can't feel the bottom of the slough of despond. And it causes, as you said, it causes that fear. But let's look at that and say, drive us back to the Lord so you're looking for the right tools. I think I used a analogy of a rake and how my grandfather would say, use the right tools for the right job. So it requires some discernment on your part, the pioneer's part. Do I use a gravel rake or do I use a leaf rake? I mean, let's, the analogy of that.
Practically speaking.
And you can get advice, human advice on that, but there's also the Lord's leading and direction when you're accomplishing. He's called you to a mission that he wants. He's using me, like Gideon, using me?
Using me? And he has to call us out of hiding sometimes.
He does. And again, fear can also be a tool. It's to drive us to him, and he then gives us the gift of faith to be able to accomplish.
Faith is a huge part of it.
Yeah, and it's a gift.
We don't have the tools. If we don't, sometimes we have to pinch hit. We've been talking about pinch hitting this morning. We have to improvise.
We make our own tools sometimes.
Exactly. I don't know how many times I saw my little grandmother unable to wait for my grandfather to get back with a gun to shoot the snake, and she would just run out of the yard with a shovel. And she'd get over it and do this, and she'd go back to the kitchen. I mean, you just do what you have to do.
The shovel worked and the gun worked.
It worked. It was, what did she have? And timing. She couldn't wait to get back. So Wow. I think we need 2 episodes for this book. But when we come back from the break, I want to get more into this book that I know is going to be so helpful to you if you're a leader, if you're a creative, if you are an entrepreneur. I want you to come right back. More with Dr. Jennifer Hayden Epperson. See you then.
So you're on our website trying to select your favorite products, or maybe put a gift package together for a friend. Well, we've done the work for you. Our Pause package encourages rest and contains 1 Quiet Brain healing lotion, therapeutic bubble bath, and a Quiet Brain 50-hour burn candle. Our Uplift package gives you a real mood boost with a Happy Brain candle, healing lotion, and bubble bath. The Self-Care package contains the Quiet Brain healing lotion, bubble bath, and healing shampoo and conditioner. Our Awaken package is made with our Sharp Brain blend and includes 1 nasal inhaler, 1 dropper bottle of oil, 1 bottle of healing lotion, and a Sharp Brain candle. The Sweet Dreams package is popular because it contains 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain oil, 1 satin sleep eye mask, and a copy of my best-selling book, Seeing the Voice of God, What God is Telling You Through Dreams and Visions. And don't forget our Quiet Brain gift box, our best value, with a sampling of almost all Quiet Brain products. 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight Diffuser, 1 dropper bottle of oil, a nasal inhaler, candle, shampoo and conditioner set, and even a satin sleep eye mask. But my personal favorite is our trio oil sets that allow you to sample all 3 of our patented neuromatic oil blends while only paying for 2. They're available in dropper bottles, rollerball bottles, and our eyedropper pump bottle. Scan the QR code on your screen, go to lauraharrismith.com/CTN, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET BRAIN.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Three. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and I'm sitting here talking with my fellow pioneer, Dr. Jennifer Hayden Epperson. Just realized we're pioneer to pioneer, doctor to doctor, broadcaster to broadcaster, media to media, sister to sister. I don't know. We have so many. But I love tracking with your ministry. You know, we've never, 4 years ago we met. We've not been friends that long. But every time I talk to you, I am so inspired.
Thank you.
I'm glad. I really am. As a leader, as someone who we need inspiration to. Leaders, we're always leading, but we need to be nourished as well. And before the break, you were telling me, or at the break, you were telling me about these characteristics of a pioneer. And you say there's 6 of them?
Yes.
So I want to go over those because there's somebody out there asking, I think I am. I think I am. Am I? And I want us to really define that.
Yes. And before we launch into that, I want to say, please don't count yourself out. If you don't think you're this, well, I'm not that.
Yeah.
The Lord may be calling you up to something higher.
Right.
So,
that's right. So
with that being said,
listen and learn here. Be willing.
So the 6 P's of pioneering, one of the things that I discovered as I was studying pioneers is that they're possibility driven. Okay. In other words, what are the possibilities out there? And many of them require risks.
Right.
So pioneers are not one to just say, that's too much trouble. If they're driven by this mission, they have this irritant they want to overcome, they will be willing to take the risk.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Wow, that's good. Okay.
So a second one is they're probing. They're very curious because when they have a problem presented to them or a mission they want to accomplish, they invest themselves in learning about this. So it's like, what are the different facets of information that I need, or what do I need to learn to do in order to accomplish this mission?
Good.
And they will interview people. They will, search things out in order to be successful at what they do. They are also very persistent. Like, think of the dog gnawing the bone and trying to pull that bone away from that dog. They will growl because they so believe in this mission or so believe in this goal that they will continue to gnaw at it. I mean, what would happen if Epperson had stopped, or some of our inventors or some of our explorers had just stopped short? What a loss it would have been for us today.
Right. What if Jesus had stopped short? I mean, Yeah.
And
wow.
And we could talk about how Jesus is our chief pioneer. We'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get
for
there.
sure. Are we on 4? Fourth P?
Yes,
Okay.
fourth P.
What is it?
This is pomance, and this is a word I coined. I know it sounds funny, but it's the French word skin, po,
Okay.
combined with romance. So
love
you have a
it.
romance with skin in the game.
Wow.
Dr. Angela Duckworth wrote a book called Grit. And what is grit?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's sort of grit with skin on. So many pioneers, you will see them actually involved in the work of pioneering. They won't just hire a team and send them in. They have to go with.
They have to, yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
They're principled. They believe that if I have enough time, if I have enough energy, this can be accomplished. And I would like to say, especially as Christians, there's an ethical perspective on that. Things can be done, especially these days and medically, but
Yeah.
should they be done?
Right, okay.
And I think
I'm
that
with you.
there are pioneers that have done horrible things in human history, and I don't want to deal with those. You know, let's stay principled and let's
Yeah.
keep our ethics and our moral compass
Oh,
pointed
right.
straight to God.
Stem cell research on the unborn child. I mean, there have now been workarounds, you know, with the sac itself, the placenta, to where we don't have to harm human life in the name of science.
Right.
We need the technology, but so I'm tracking with you. I've already interviewed somebody that sat in that chair and told me that very thing last night. Keep
Good,
going. I'm
good.
sorry.
And then finally, they're very persuasive.
Right.
In order sometimes to accomplish the goal, they have to influence others to become a part of that. And sometimes
Right.
those individuals help fund the exploration
do.
or fund the
Wow.
effort. So you have to be able to talk to others, just as we're talking now about pioneering. You know, we're so
Yeah.
excited about it. Hopefully we're offering inspiration to your viewers too, to look into this.
You know what? Some of my viewers, and they know me really well after 8 seasons, they know this is what I had to do. I was sick. There was no medicine that would help my neurological condition. I started studying diet. I started studying essential oils, things that I didn't really ever want to use as tools. I was persistent. I did see the problem. I probed. I educated myself, became a nutritionist, then a naturopathic doctor, then had to patent an invention to help myself, and now it's helping the world.
There you
I
go.
didn't want to
There
do
you go.
any of that. I just wanted to stay well. And the next thing I knew, so, and I think I've raised 6 pioneers. I'm looking at the definition of this, and this has just been so eye-opening. You dedicated this to your mom, Betty
Yes.
Hayden. And so she sounds like a pioneer. She sounds like somebody who raised a pioneer. And so is she still with us?
She's with the
Okay.
Lord.
She's with the Lord. Okay.
Yes, so she never saw this
She
book.
never saw the book. Well, she saw you. My goodness. And I
Yes.
know that she's just smiling at you from your great cloud of witnesses. Jennifer, thank you for joining us.
You're
I'm
welcome.
always so happy. Keep in touch.
What a pleasure.
And it is a pleasure, and God bless you. Pioneer to pioneer to pioneer. All right, everybody, another great episode of The Three. And by the way, you can find The Pioneer's Way online. And please do. You need to buy 2 copies, one for yourself and one for a pioneer you might know. So we can go to Amazon, we can go to all kinds of different places to get it, but just make sure you get it. I'm Laura Harris Smith, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.